Hello, all you beautiful souls. Love that it's toque weather because I can just literally throw it on and rock my day when I don't have meetings, of course. Have to be presentable for meetings, like, come on. Okay, so I did a big thing that I wanted to share, and there are self-care tools that you can implement in your life to help you move through anything that's difficult. So last week we had our yearly event with the hospice, and they're the ones who took care of Jess in the last few weeks of her life. And usually my brother speaks at these events. It's been a couple years now, and I think it's our second year. And unfortunately, he tested positive for COVID. And so he asked me to speak at the event. And of course, I said yes. And I was really nervous because I've never been back to the hospice. I've driven by a couple times just to prep my nervous system and then allowed any emotion to come up because that's part of the healing process too. And so before the event, I will be very honest with you. I was very nervous. My nervous system was just like spiked right up. And I was a hot mess. I had to get some work stuff done and try to get, Alea ready. You know how it is as a mom. And then I washed my hair the night before, which I don't like doing because I have thin hair. I have lots of thin hair. But then the next day it's harder to style because if I don't blow dry it, anyways, you guys get it. So then I'm like, oh, let's do the wet beach look like I always do. Ran out of my stuff. I'm like, I'll just use mousse. And then that didn't really work out. I tried to do a messy bun with it. And I'm like, hey, I'll just let it dry and it'll be good. And then Tay walks in, he goes, ooh, your hair looks like you just got out of bed. And he was absolutely right. It didn't dry properly. So now I'm like, crap, I got 5 minutes to do my hair. Literally just tried to put it in this nice little bun. Anyways, here I am again, taking care of everything else and then leave myself a last lesson for me to learn. And then we go to this event. And it all turned out very, very, very well. The speech was short and sweet. Dan is a very private person, so we didn't want to mention Jessica, but we did write a little thing for the Bay Today, but they never posted it. So that's a story for another day. And Bay Today also needs to learn how to take better photos because they literally took a photo of me halfway through my speech. And I just it brought back, I think, a lot of things that needed to be healed, and you can't heal through it until you move through new experiences. So I think just being judged online many years ago, I worked through a lot of stuff by being vulnerable again and sharing my heart and all that fun stuff. But then having someone else post a photo of you and you have no control over it, where it's not terrible, but it's not magnificent. Anyways, I was processing a lot, and plus being at the hospice and then like holding myself together and making sure I wasn't going to cry and just keep that professionalism. It was very difficult, but very rewarding. And anything in life, right? When you take leaps and bounds and stretch yourself to new experiences, and this new expansion, it's going to come with the beautiful, ugly patterns that you're moving through. And, if we can just have the sense of grace and the sense of compassion for ourselves and allow ourselves to actually feel the way that we feel and honor that. So now I knew within a few days, I was like, I'm going to look back at this picture and laugh. And it's interesting to say it out loud. Right? You can say it, but to truly embody it and not actually have a reaction to it is a whole different world. And in order to do that, you need to process, right? And that's what I had to do. I had to process looking at these pictures, being like, holy shit, I look like I just rolled out of bed. And, and just analyzing and just being in that space of judgment and giving myself permission to just lay it all on the table. To lay everything that I was feeling on the table, to process it, to move through it. And then so now I could look back in a lighter perspective, in a more laughing way, and truly mean it and not hold on to any emotion that was tied to that experience. And so that's the beauty of life. But we talk a lot about the other side of things, right? We post the pictures that we want and maybe the part of the speech that went well. And we talk about how magnificent it was and how proud we are of ourselves, but we don't talk about the backstory, how we got there. And so there's this illusion on Instagram or Facebook or social media that things are always easy and you're always in flow. And it's like, no, there's shit that happens in the background all the time, all the time. And I am here to talk about that, because if we don't, then we have this illusion of how life should be and not raw, real, and authentic to the overall experience to get to that point. And so, my love, tools that I utilized, right? I promised tools. One tool is the one I've been talking about the most, is frequency. When I was nervous prior, I put on a program, a frequency program called Balanced Nerves. And it's specifically for your job, right? So before public speaking, I used it. And it really gave me this sense of groundingness throughout that entire presentation, throughout the hot mess, throughout just everything that was happening. And so I was able to still perform at a high capacity through that chaos that happened prior and really ground myself, and then create a safe place afterwards to process any emotions that were tied to it, because it was a very difficult thing to speak in front of a bunch of people, thanking the place that helped transition Jess. It was the last place that I saw her, and I shared this on social media in my story where, the last time we had a hug, it was me, Tay, and Dwight, and we were doing a group huggy, is what we like to call it, in front of a window, and she was in a wheelchair. And at this point, she was, her body was pretty much at the point of, she was very fragile. Her body was. Her soul was still on fire. And she held the positivity and the light and the love till the end. And all of the care that she gave to every single person in her life, she got back from the hospice. And there's so much more that I want to say, but again, I wanted to respect my brother, who is a very private person, but still making an impact through his experience and giving back to the community. And so I wanted to respect his wishes and keep it more on the professional business side of things, right? And so on this platform, I can definitely kind of speak my heart out on this. And so going back to Jess's story of all giving a little group huggy, I could just feel the love, feel the energy, and I could feel a profound angels with us. And then she looked up at all of us and said, "You all have beautiful wings." And I remember Dwight starting to tear up, and we just gave her another hug. And it was, it was one of the most difficult yet most beautiful experiences of my entire life that I will never, ever forget. And healing comes through talking about it, right? Talking about it, allowing yourself to feel anything that's tied to it, putting it on the shelf if it's too much, then picking it back up, and scheduling pockets of joy and glimmers while you move through the intensity that comes with grief. And so that is my number one tool, to be honest, is the frequency, because it goes to the core. It helps you in any situation. It's easy to use. It can scan you and tell you what you need, or you can research it and say, this is how I'm feeling. What program do you recommend? And you feel the difference. And I'm a living example of that difference, and would love, love, love to help you on your journey through this self-care tool. So if you feel called and you are ready to explore the world of frequency, I would love to help you rise through the chaos and manifest consciously as we really face these behaviors and these patterns that no longer serve us, and really step into our most authentic, vibrant, beautiful soul that we are, and truly make an impact in this world in our own divine, beautiful way. On that note, create yourself a beautiful day.